And welcome, everybody. Good to have you with us. I am your host, Jim Masters, of course. You can tell that by the title of the show, Jim Masters Show Live. Good to have you with us. Hope you guys are having a great day. This is actually our second broadcast today. For those of you who are just joining us, we did a pop-up episode earlier in the day, and it was sort of like a behind-the-scenes look at the Jim Masters Show Live. And we were all casual, and I had that nice cup of Java, nice cup of coffee, the Colombian coffee, and we just chatted for about an hour, hour and a half. Again, I was only going to pop on for like 10 minutes, but you know, that never happens. We never succeed at that. It ends up going longer. So it was a Saturday morning pop-up show. We did it about 11:45 this morning, and so many of you popped up yourselves. You were there, and we had great conversations and lots of levity. And you guys were telling me about some of the things you're doing. Renee coming back from her vacation in Illinois, going to Field of Dreams, crossing over the Mississippi River, going back home to Iowa. Willie was watching in the Netherlands, Eileen watching in Australia, and all of you, Karen in New Hampshire, and Kathleen in New York City. So we greet all of you from around the world. This is the evening edition of the Jim Masters Show Live. Again, that was something that a lot of people really liked, where I just popped on like that, and no advance notice. We just did a pop-up morning edition or afternoon edition of the Jim Masters Show Live. So this is our second episode in the same day. Good to have you with us. Welcome. We're entering week number 12 of the Jim Masters Show series. If you're just joining us for the first time, this is a real cool show. A lot of levity, lighthearted, good times, inspiration, information, education, entertainment. It's an entertainment lifestyle talk show series that I created just about 12 weeks ago here on YouTube. Those of you watching on YouTube at Jim Masters TV, and also on Facebook, we're simulcasting at Jim Masters TV. Now, if you're watching for the first time, wherever you're watching across the United States, Canada, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, because we have viewers and fans of this series who are from all those locations. We don't have anybody from the Arctic Circle or Antarctica yet, but we are working on that. If they have Wi-Fi, they can get us. This was really terrific to do that earlier show today, and maybe doing more of those pop-up shows on the weekend here and there. We'll see based on the schedule, because balancing my professional work with this show, you know, sometimes it gets a little crazy. But for those of you watching for the first time, I'm actually a professional television radio host. I've been on public television for many years. I host a lifestyle travel TV series, a TV news magazine show out of New York, radio shows, TV host, personality, presenter, which they say in Europe, a presenter, also voiceover artist, narrator, actor, journalist, stage MC as well, and writer, producer. So all aspects, a lot of on camera, a lot of hosting over the years, all kinds of different shows. As a matter of fact, towards the end of this episode, make sure you stick with us. We're going to do a very special tribute to somebody that we lost today over the last 24 hours, and that is the one and only Regis Philbin. I don't know if you're aware that Regis Philbin passed away, and I had an opportunity to work with Regis in terms of a couple of different things and chatting with him, and he's wonderful. He was just really an amazing, amazing television personality, host, actor, singer, and an all-around wonderful man, really, really. And he paved the way for so many hosts, folks like myself, who have been groomed, you know, ever since college and through college to be, you know, a television and radio person with the background. Regis Philbin, Johnny Carson, Dick Clark, some of these real classic people, and even people that are doing it today. But Regis was one of those who really made a mark for himself, and we're going to celebrate his life and say farewell to him later on in this episode of the show, because again, his passing is just being announced on the news now. So this might come as a surprise to some of you that the one and only Regis Philbin did pass away. But I welcome all of you to the show. We're going to put some smiles on your face. We'll do the tribute to Regis later towards the end of the broadcast. I have a wonderful guest who's going to be joining me in just a moment. And maybe you saw the graphic earlier when the show started. We've got actor and singer ELLIS GAGE. He is here and he's amazing. Matter of fact, he's going to be performing for us. Plus, we have some video and we have photos, and we're going to have a good conversation. That's what we do here on the show. We have a good, solid conversation. We don't rush anything. We don't do just headlines or quick sound bites. Usually, I like you to be left with an essence of who I am, what the show's about, and who our guest is. So it's really cool. My hair is really long, right? It still hasn't been cut since March. Usually my hair is a lot shorter. The last time it was this long, and we were talking about it on the early episode today. The last time it was this long was about a year ago when I was doing that TV shoot in Europe and the Netherlands, but it's really getting quite long. But ELLIS is here. He's going to entertain you. He's really, really amazing. He's a great, passionate, enthusiastic spirit, a great talent. He loves what he does. Audiences love him as well. And you're going to love him too. If you've never heard of him before, I can't believe how you wouldn't. But if you haven't, you'll learn about him tonight and you'll want to go see him once things start opening up and you have an opportunity to go see people again. But some wonderful comments coming in. We always welcome our viewers. Yes, Willie in the Netherlands, 2 sessions today. Wow, Jim, you're the best. Thank you very much. You're watching in Holland right now in the Netherlands. And that's right. You had double exposure today. And of course, we did this earlier for you. Here's your Dutch tulips. The reason why we do this is because it's about 1 o'clock in the morning in the Netherlands. And Willie actually goes to bed in the daytime, but I don't know if you did it today, Willie. She goes to bed in the daytime and then wakes up, schedules her day to wake up at 1 a.m. so she never misses an episode of the Jim Masters Show live series. So we always show her those fabulous Dutch tulips. Beautiful to have you here. And yes, how spoiled we are by Jim. 2 shows in one day. Jim, I'm a hunk. Well, okay, maybe I'll just leave that one up. Forget about the rest of the comments. I think I'll leave that one up the rest of the show. What do you think? Thanks, Willie. And of course, when we show her the tulips, she always shows the tulips back. And good to see everybody here and all these great comments coming in already. Linda in Florida. Good evening, Mr. Lovety. The word that we sort of accidentally coined for the show. But I think we're going to do some T-shirts and mugs or hats or something because people are asking for things like that. So enjoyed last night's show. Yes, we had Stan Livingston, who played Chip Douglas on My Three Sons, the legendary sitcom series My Three Sons. He was on the show last night. You can go back and you can see that episode. You can see all the episodes at Jim Masters TV on YouTube, including this episode. Feel free to share this one as well with our great friend ELLIS. Now, June is here. Hey, June, good to see you. You're a mutual friend of ELLIS and mine. Good to see you as well in New York City. And Renee made it back home from her vacation. That's wonderful to see. Good to see you, Renee. Now you're home in Iowa. Linda says hello to everybody. Again, we like to do the viewer interaction. Merlin is back. Merlin was with us. You guys, a lot of you were with us with the afternoon edition of the show that we did, that pop-up episode. Hey, Jim, how's it going? It's going fantastically. We've got a fabulous guest here. He's right now in our green room, and he's being treated to lobster and champagne and chocolates and cheeses in our beautiful, illustrious green room. Maybe not. He's at his home studio and we're at our home studio here. So everybody's saying hello. Danilo, good to see you as well. The Levity time has come. Welcome all Lovities. That's right. That's what we call all our viewers now. Lovities, since we use Levity as part of the word that we coined here on the show. Good to see you in San Diego, California, one of my favorite places. And I need to get back out there. I was in California for a couple of TV shoots last year, but didn't go as far south of San Diego, as close to I've been to San Diego, but as close that we got that trip was Temecula out in the desert. And that was beautiful. Temecula is beautiful. So good to see you as well. Avril watching in Hampshire, United Kingdom. Hi again from Hampshire. Very rainy day today. It was so nice to see you earlier in the day. Thank you very much, Avril. It was so nice to see you earlier in the day as well. I just, popped on. I didn't do any announcements. Usually we're very good at promoting on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter when we're going to be on. We're always on 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, but we mention who the guests are. We just promote it in advance. this was a surprise pop-up and you guys were there. And it's like, oh my God, it was a blow up of fabulous people. Good to see you there in the United Kingdom. I hope you're doing well. And thanks for joining us on this episode as well. Kathleen, hi, Jim. Hope you had a good day. Hi, everyone as well. I still have to, I think you said you sent a text and I haven't checked the texts yet because there's a lot of them on there. But I will check the text after the show. I know you said there was something important that you needed me to see, so I will do that. Willie says it is show number 44. Wow. We've been on for 12 weeks. Show number 44. That is consistency. Thank you very much, Willie. We appreciate that. And if you wanted to see the casual pop-up show we did this morning, it's on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. Very casual, coffee, relaxed. That's terrific. Of course, yes, our hearts go out to Regis Philbin's family, his wife Joy, his daughters, and the family. Smiles coming in from Renee and Willie and all, yes, June as well, and Ernestine watching once again in North Carolina. I agree, Regis was wonderful as well, and we'll celebrate all of that. I know Regis, yeah, the news is sort of breaking, and if I had heard earlier today when I did that pop-up show, I would have mentioned it earlier, but I actually found out after that. Yeah, wonderful. He was a wonderful personality. He performed a lot with Don Rickles, too. I know a lot of people expressing their grief for the loss of Regis, but we're going to perk you up because we've got an amazing guest who's a wonderful spirit. No, not today, no nap. So, Willie, you didn't nap today, even though it's 1:15 a.m. almost there in Holland. You watched the show earlier, and then you're watching this show. We love you for that. Good to see Linda and Marilyn in Kansas, and Linda and everybody that's tuned in tonight. I want to tell you, I want to get right to the guest. Before I do that, as you know, we always have our cast of characters. And if I don't mention the cast of characters, everybody looks for them. And we mentioned just this one, George, who you guys love. So he is there. He says hello. My cousin Barbara gave me this, as we mentioned. We had this on the Nostalgic Week here on the series. And there he is. He sees all of you. He's got his cigar. He's raring to go. It's always nice when George is here and your other friend is here. Again, the show is Light, Levity, and Love. We like to put smiles on people's faces, lighten the load. We've gone through a couple of rough months together, haven't we, globally? So the genie's there. And if you look close in our 3D, since we upgraded our studios here, you can see her in there, I think, blinking and saying hello to all of you. And your other friend is here. I tell you, I got to become an octopus, or I need longer arms with all of the things here. Silver is here. Yes, we got him on a TV shoot when we were in Europe. He sees you. He is our Silver Lab. And we had Hollywood legend Sky Aubrey on. She was on Batman and all these shows. And her father was president of MGM and CBS and all of this. She fell in love with Silver. She said that she and her daughter have a Silver Lab in Florida. So Silver is here. Silver greets you again. And one more. Here we go. There's Jimmy. I know you guys, some of you are afraid of Jimmy, but he's a very, very happy, friendly clown. Don't you think so? Like I said, I think he will be my fill-in if I am ever on vacation or under the weather. I think I'll have him be the fill-in. Jimmy is here. Jimmy greets you as well. All right. Everybody's accounted for. A couple more quick comments coming in here on our talk show series. Hello, everyone. Jacqueline, it's good to see you as well. And that's right. That's right. So good stuff. Good stuff. Welcome to the show. And now we're going to welcome a very, very special friend of our show. Here is Ellis. And let me tell you, if you're not familiar, after first seeing a PBS broadcast of Sondheim's Into the Woods at the age of 7, Ellis knew what he wanted to do the rest of his life. And having been affiliated all these years with public television, it's wonderful that he did see it on PBS. He knew what he wanted to do for the rest of his life. After 3 years of gaining experience in community theater, Ellis moved to New York. He's originally from Massachusetts, and he spent the past 9 years building a successful career as a young actor and vocalist. He landed his first professional role at the wonderful Goodspeed Opera House in Connecticut. If you've never been there, I wholeheartedly suggest you go. It's beautiful, right on the Connecticut River, and You've got the Gelston House restaurant there. It's just a fabulous place. We love to go there all the time, over towards East Haddam, Connecticut. He played the title role in the world premiere of Pasek and Paul James and the Giant Peach. As an actor, Ellis workshopped the principal role of Marty in Kooman and Dimond's Dani Girl at Cherry Lane Theatre, and originated the principal role of Prince Alexander in the off-Broadway debut of Rumpelstiltskin, a new musical at the Workshop Theatre in New York City. Now, when not in theater, Ellis was exploring the world of opera and solo performance. As a member of several GPR Festival Choir, of the select GPR Festival Choir, he was featured on the CD recording of Goodnight Moon by Glen Roven, featuring Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael Douglas. Ellis has been a regular performer at events for Mayor Michael Bloomberg and Bloomberg philanthropic. How do you say that word again? Philanthropic. I'll have Ellis say it. I should know that. Philanthropies. And I'm a speaker, including Education Nation, Philanthropies. That's the word. Bloomberg Philanthropies. Why can't I say that tonight? I think it's because I did that other show earlier. I'm all talked out. So Bloomberg Philanthropies, which is a very beautiful thing to be a part of, including Education Nation, as well as the International Conference of Mayors, and a frequent performer on Seth Rudusky's Sirius XM radio program, Seth Speaks. Now, after winning an IRNE Award, that's Independent Reviewers of New England, for Best Performance by a Young Actor, Ellis put his performing career on hold to board at St. Mark's School in Massachusetts. At St. Mark's, he established a new musical theater program, directing, producing, and performing in musicals in each of his last 3 years. Starting with a small group of interested students and a cast of 4, he built the program into the centerpiece of school arts program, and his final show featured a cast of more than 50 students. And upon graduation, he was awarded the J. Stanley Shepard Music Award, recognizing his impact on the musical life of the school. Turning his focus towards the future, Ellis currently resides in New York. He's acting and he's performing and he's recording every opportunity that he has. And he's very, very passionate about it as well. Let me tell you, he's terrific. And philanthropy is big to him, and it is big to me as well. So I'm so happy to welcome him to the show. We're going to go through a few pictures as we go along as well, but let me welcome him right now to the program. Ellis, welcome. It's so great to have you here on the show. How are you today?
Hello. I loved the lobster. I am
Wasn't it good?
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for that introduction. It's great to be here. Saying hello to everyone watching. Hello, June.
Yes, she's here too, which is wonderful. She's wonderful too because she has so many wonderful things to always tell us about. Yeah, lights, camera, action is what Marilyn is saying she's watching from Innerkip, Ontario, Canada. Could you believe that?
Oh, hello.
and June says hiya. So how have you been doing during the pandemic, during, all of this time when everybody is at home and everybody's sort of locked in?
That is the question right now. I think especially for artists, it's been a particularly strange, chaotic time in our lives. People whose whole lives are performing, being out and about. But I think on the other side of things, artists really have the advantage of our lives always having been chaos. Like I've kind of never not known any real homeostasis on a career level, just because it's contract to contract, project to project. So I think that performers and creatives have really been able to sort of make the best of a really wacky curveball that's been thrown at us. But what I've been doing for the most part is just trying to stay as creative and engaged with the community as possible. I'm really trying to stay in touch with all my loved ones, the whole community remotely, doing whatever I can. And also there are a lot of really interesting, exciting projects going on that were either born from the quarantine madness, as we like to call it, or projects that were slated to be going on during the pandemic that are proceeding in a new, unorthodox way. I've been involved in a few new musicals, some shows that have gone virtual, as well as just some recording voiceover work, because that's easy to do from anywhere. But it's been okay. It could definitely be worse, but I think that the gift of imagination and creativity really shines through for a lot of us, especially now, because when it's all you have, that's what you have to depend on.
Yeah, everybody's had to pivot and be creative and think of different things to do to keep connected and keep those creative juices flowing, which is, it's an interesting time, because I think it's a little bit of a reset that we're all going through, which might actually, bring some beautiful results as people are sort of remembering and valuing the things in life that truly matter most, family and friends and, the basics and simple things in life too.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at you. Look at what you're doing. Like this started once the pandemic started. So things are. We adapt and we turn around. I'm certainly grateful to finally be with my family, with my parents and sister here in Massachusetts. I had been quarantining in Manhattan for a few months, but I finally got to come back home and just spend some time, still pretty busy, but just breathing in a new way and just kind of looking at this world and this industry that has never really stopped like this before, through a whole new lens. And I can't wait to get back, but aside from the fact that everyone is unemployed, I think that there is good to be drawn from this.
Exactly. Let's go back in time a little bit, Ellis, which I like to do with the guests, so people get a real appreciation for some of the things that have inspired somebody like you to do what you do. I know I mentioned early on when you were watching, that Sondheim special on PBS, that was a big inspiration for you. But even before that, did you already have an inkling? Were you already inspired? Were you always, a kid that was entertaining and performing and doing different things in the house to maybe entertain the rest of the family? Did you already have an idea? And did your family have the idea that you were going to be a born entertainer?
That is a great question. I started out I was raised in a very arts and literature film driven home. So I was raised partially by the arts. So I give a lot of credit to that and to my parents for exposing me to that. I was always a big Disney nerd. I loved anything and everything Disney. You introduced us to some of your friends at the start of this, and I just happened to pull this out. This is a little Aladdin guy, and this is a little Robin Williams who lives in here. I've always wanted.
See, I love that.
Yes, I've always wanted to be Aladdin.
So you've got the Aladdin, and I've got the genie bottle.
Exactly.
Maybe the two of them need to talk.
Yes, they're inter-universe, but I grew up really loving Disney and all things within that universe. And I remember seeing at the Walt Disney World Park in Florida, they do like a 25-minute stage adaptation of Beauty and the Beast. And Beauty and the Beast was always my favorite. And I remember seeing humans up on the stage doing what I had seen cartoons do. I had seen this this medium that is musical theater told through animation, and then all of a sudden it was translated to me up live in action by performers, and I thought, this is something that people do. This is something that people can do. And I remember that was kind of the seed of the idea that this could be my life. This could be my career. And from there, I was always watching musicals at home. I remember I saw my first Broadway show. It was Les Mis. And I was so lucky to see it with Lea Salonga and Anne Harada and Al Ewald, 3 Asian American actors. And as an Asian American actor now myself, I realized just how important that representation was for me at such a young age, seeing these traditionally white roles played by these people of color. And I just grew up loving anything and everything Broadway, anything that was the language of musical theater. I got involved in community theater pretty early on when I was 7 or 8, and I connected with a voice teacher in New York City when I was 10, and I was working within a few months, and it was kind of a snowball effect. Like I knew on a recreational level how much I loved it, but experiencing it as young as 10, 11, 12, 13, professionally, I saw like, these are good people. These are my people. I want to spend more time here doing this work, telling these stories through this really unique, transcendent language.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. And you've done that and continue to do that. And you did this, I think, was it America that you sang in 2011 at the US Open?
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh.
There he is. There's young Ellis.
I was 11. I believe I broke the record at that time for the latest any young performer has sung America the Beautiful at the US Open. It was like past 11:30, and they were making a big deal about how this has never happened before. There was a really intense match right before I sang. So fun night, fun times.
That's cool. What an honor. Now, how did that happen? How that opportunity happen?
That was actually, there was an open call that year for kids.
So you were up against a lot of other talent out there.
Yes, yeah, it was via just this big random open call at the Apollo Theatre, but it ended up serving as a double audition because I sang. I did the audition for the US Open, and there also happened to be a talent scout from the Apollo Theatre. So I was invited to do amateur night there, and it was an absolute blast. So that was a really exciting day. And meanwhile, my sister was back home in Massachusetts winning a softball championship. So it was a lucky time for sure.
Yeah, that was a really good week, huh?
Yes.
Wow. Proud parents as well. I want to take people through a little bit of here's another shot. You look so happy there. You're fully engaged.
Oh, yeah. That is from St. Mark's School. I know you mentioned I resided there for 4 years, for freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. I was in Southborough, Massachusetts. It was a really important experience for me. I think it was definitely difficult. It was a very athletic school. Growing up, I was never an athlete, but it was I took so much out of some of the amazing classes I got to take there, and also getting to start the musical theater program at the school. There hadn't been one for I think 30 years before I was there. It just kind of fell off the curriculum. Like, it just wasn't a logistical possibility because of the sports schedules being so intense. And also, like, there were some plays, but you had to choose between that and your sport. And high school is such a developmental time
where the arts are important.
Seriously. And there were kids who were there to play sports because, you know, someone's a rower or a basketball player or a lacrosse player, but they also want to be on stage. And when they can't give one up for the other. So what I did is I designed this program to accommodate that and let all the athletes participate. So we started off small. We did the show I'd done at Cherry Lane, and it was a little cast of 4. And then as the next few productions came around, it really grew in popularity. The administration was even concerned that it was just becoming bigger than a lot of the other arts offerings because people were so excited about it. But it was one of the greatest learning experiences, I think, because I finally got to, I really had to fight for it. Like I said, administration was iffy on letting this completely student-led, completely independent thing happen within the school community. But what I really got to do in fighting for that is develop an argument and develop a thesis as to why musical theater is so important and why I need it, why people need it. You know, it's a spectrum. It varies from person to person how resonant it might be, but just really getting to put onto paper and put into words the reason why non-diegetic, out-of-universe music married to the timeless power of a narrative, whether in literature, film, on stage, just the storytelling mixed with the really transcendent, phenomenal power that is musical storytelling, is just something irreplaceable and so special, and something that these kids deserved to experience or at least just try out. And they're still going strong.
You're very intuitive. I was going to ask that. Is it still going? You've left sort of like a legacy there, I think. It seems like you've built something, and now that you move on with your career, which I'm sure they're following too, because, you know, they know of you and hear of you, I'm sure. You've left sort of a legacy there at that school. Yes,
they are still going strong. Unfortunately, their last production, of course, couldn't proceed in the midst of the pandemic. They were going to do Newsies. I was so excited. I was wondering how in the heck they were going to pull that off. But they've done productions since I left, and some really hard ones too. They did Hairspray, and I was wondering, how are you going to
pull that off?
Get that dancing under, and how are you going to have the diversity? You know, because that's really something that the school is always trying to do, is increase its non-white population. But they did it, and it was completely appropriate, and it was great. So I'm so proud of them.
Yeah, sure.
Continuing that, and it really just goes to show, try the things. Like I tried sports. I played basketball pretty terribly. I did some rowing. It was different, but I'm glad I tried it. I'm glad I got to do it, you know, especially in that time where there was so much development and so much change in my life. Like, it was a major adjustment to be a child actor who's suddenly just living in this very uniform community. But it was a stretching experience. I'm all about those.
It sounds like something that still sticks with you today. And that way, you know, as time goes on, you can mentor other, you know, young minds as they're coming up to influence them positively, to never give up. I try to do that too. I tell people, you know, regardless of what they're doing, you don't know until you try it. And if it's for you, then it's for you. If it's not for you, at least you can look back in later years and say, you know what, I gave that a shot. Really wasn't designed for me, but I tried it. I know what it's like. I can speak, knowledgeably about it. But here's the other thing that I really am pursuing. That's my true passion. And this is what I want to show you, because this is where I really shine. Sometimes, we find out where our shine is by trying a lot of different things. Same thing if you have 36 flavors of Ben & Jerry's, there's going to be a favorite or two in there, but all 36 won't be. It's a similar way of thinking about it. So I want to show some more photos here as well, because we have a nice little array of photos. When was this taken? What was happening here, Ellis?
Ooh, that was another St. Mark's event. Yes, that's the Class of 45 Hall.
This is a very nice comment from Merlin in Canada. I admire these kids that know what they want at such an early age. And again, a lot of it, the influence of the family, the encouragement of family, being supportive is very, very important, because not all, I've had that too, the love of and support and backing of family, but not all kids get that, unfortunately. There's another great shot. Where was this?
That's the West End Lounge.
Ah, yeah.
Up in Washington Heights. Oh, it's such a lovely, dingy, not lovely space. It's one of those little
authentic
shoebox venues. It's like in a partial basement, but it's such a family there, and it's where I've been a lot just to play with new material, new stuff. I do a lot of arranging and a lot of my own mashups and revamps, different versions of things. I really love to play with nostalgic material.
Sure.
Stuff from children's media, like children's TV shows, children's movies that people tend to overlook because it's boxed in a certain way. I did an arrangement recently. There's this old Chip and Dale cartoon where they meet a girl chipmunk, and she sings this song that Billy Eckstine sang as well, called My Destiny, but people know it as this song that this girl chipmunk sings, and that's about it. But I wanted to kind of strip it down and just show there's a lot to this song. It's really, really beautiful. A lot of, like I was saying, the Disney stuff. I've done some Sesame Street stuff, just all over the place.
You're testing the waters. You're seeing the things that you really like. What is some of the music that you like to listen to, if it's just even for pleasure, not necessarily music that you might want to take on yourself, but even just for everyday listening? Do you listen to a variety of different styles of music?
I really love jazz.
Yeah, me too.
From Gatsby era through like the 50s. I started to fall in love with that actually when my voice was changing, the dreaded change. They call it for young boys.
Like age 13-ish, around there, yeah.
Yes, yeah, it was 13.
It dropped. So it dropped a little bit, yeah.
It did. And I found the music of the 20s, 30s, 40s, Berlin, Gershwin, Porter, all the untouchable scores and songs.
Yeah.
Because they sat in a comfortable place for my voice at that time. And I thought, singing is not over. It's just different now. And I got so immersed in that world. And I was always inspired by the work of Scott Bradley and Postmodern Jukebox, what he does. I've done a lot kind of piggybacking off of that myself, because just taking music and stripping it down and putting it back out there in this whole new way was so inspiring and creative to me. So I fell in love at that point, and it's never stopped being my number one. I remember circling back to St. Mark's in one of the classes I took a really, really riveting class taught by the wonderful Reverend Barbara Talcott called The Death of God. And it was about understanding religion worldwide and through the ages. And it was kind of an introduction to philosophy. And I was in an interesting place at the time with my relationship to religion and spirituality. I really didn't know what category into which I could fit. And we were talking a lot about greater purpose and transcendent experiences. And I remember feeling like the only one in the class. It was a small class, like 10 students, and everyone else were talking about their transcendent experiences and their what they knew existed outside of the phenomena personally to them. And I didn't really have anything like that, and I was battling with it for a few months. And I went home for Christmas break, and I put on Irving Berlin's White Christmas, the original Bing Crosby, Rosemary Clooney, Danny Kaye, Vera, the whole gang. And
Holiday Inn, yeah.
Yes. And I just remember I heard the first moments of the overture and just started crying because I grew up loving that movie, and just the music touched me in such a powerful way there that it all kind of came together, that this is my transcendent experience. This is the thing that I can feel that exists outside of anything intellectual or rational. And I know that there are a lot of others for whom music is that thing. And
yes,
as I've said, that's why I do what I do, and why I do it for other people, because it's powerful, and it's by that class's definition, a form of God, a form of greater power.
I understand what you're saying, because a lot of people I've interviewed, and including myself, not that I've interviewed myself, only when I'm shaving in the mirror, I interview myself. It's a lot of this is beyond ourselves. A lot of it is we are the conduits and we are the facilitators of this. It could be divine energy, what have you, all of the above, that sort of passes through us, that gives us, the passion, the drive, the enthusiasm, the resilience too, to stick with things, to craft things, to fine tune them. And then you have the energy that comes from those who consume it, the audience, the viewer, the listener, the person that is buying the product, the person that is in the audience, who may be touched by it deeply, moved by it in some way. They connect to it, they relate to it. So it's the two things that you have that are outside of yourself, but yet you are the link between the energy that's filtering through you, that conduit, and then those who are consuming it, and it's passing through you, and it's being enhanced by who you are and your background, your upbringing, your style and your taste and personality. I look at myself the same way. We're all unique, but yet similar in lots of ways. And it is this energy that passes through us that we then sort of process, and then we project out. And then the audience, the viewer, the listener, whoever, is the consumer of it. And if they're touched by all of that transference that's happening, it's extraordinary. It's like one big circle of, I guess, levity. Wouldn't you say?
I'm going to start using that. Yes.
That's what it is. It's that whole transference. I want to share, we're getting a little deep here, Ellis, but it's good because I go to the core. I'm deep anyway, and I know you are. And I think the audience really enjoys it. But I want to share some material that we have here. And this is Sesame Street. Tell us about this one, this video.
Oh, this is from a cabaret. Good friend of mine, Dara Paige Bloomfield, she did ragtime on Broadway when she was a little girl, and she started she started a cabaret series under the name Growing Up Broadway.
Right.
And it's basically where former young actors take the stage. I think it's always been 54 Below on 54th with current Broadway kids. So like the first Les Mis generation is up there singing with like the School of Rock generation. Like the Mary Poppins kids are with the Matilda kids. It's great.
Cool stuff. So,
and I wanted to bring this to life because the theme was work out of which we've aged. So things we couldn't be doing anymore, and every child in that room had been on Sesame Street. So I sang this as someone who has never been on Sesame Street, by the way.
That's one of the first shows that I had an opportunity to be affiliated with, actually, when I started at public television, was good old Sesame Street. So let's hear it. Yeah, it's a good one, and still going strong too. Here we go. Here's Ellis. Enjoy, everybody.
1, 2, 3, 4. Sunny day, sweeping the clouds away. On my way to where the air is sweet. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? Sesame Street. Sing a song, sing out loud, sing out strong, sing of good things, not bad. Sing of happy, not sad. Sing a song, make it simple to last your whole life long. Don't worry that it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just sing a song. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Shabba-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-ba-ba. Hey, ba-ba-ba. La-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Oh, shoo-ba-doo-ba-doo-da-da. Shabba-ba-ba, hey. Mama-da-ma-da, mama-da, mama-ba. Sing a song, let the world sing along. Sing of love there could be.
Very nice. Very nice.
Such a fun night. And that was David John Mador playing. He's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, you really got into it. You could feel it, and the energy and the comments coming in at people absolutely loving it, and some of them being exposed to you for the very first time, which is nice. And even one said you should run for president. Did you see that one?
Okay. Yes. That was Joanne. Hi, Joanne. I've known him since I was very, very, very little. Friend of my dad's, but he's an actor. He trained me for one of my first community theater roles years and years ago in Les Mis as Gavroche.
Let's talk about that too. And we got Clap too as well. The acting part too, because we've been focused a lot on the singing, but tell us about your entree into acting and how much you really enjoy being an actor as much as being a singer.
Yes, well, I had an interesting start professionally in that I had never really been formally trained in acting outside of just hands-on experience in community theater and playing around. I was a singer who I started because of my voice, and there were a lot of opportunities also in the acting world and in theater, and you obviously you're doing both in most any medium of singing. You're telling a story, and so I think we are all of service to this storytelling. I think it was Joanna Gleason. She had a great quote about how actors, especially now, are such a volunteer army, and those were the words, and that really moved me. They're people who it's more than entertainment. You're changing the molecules in the air every time someone gets to experience something that you're conveying up there, and I think that's really special. I've always been drawn to that.
Absolutely. You're doing it all for the right reasons and very enthusiastic and passionate about it. And I've always done that in my career too. And that's the best way. If you get to do what you love and you love what you do, it shows and people feel it. They feel the depth of it. They feel the joy and the blessing that you have in doing it. And then it resonates with them. And that's a pretty beautiful thing when that happens, right, Ellis?
Yes.
And if you can do it every day, or as
by all means,
by all means, run with it, go with it, right?
Find a way to make art happen. This is what I've always said, and right off the bat, when I'm not on stage, there are ways to contribute to the world that I love so much and about which I'm so passionate, that aren't necessarily in being a performer, whether it's directing, writing, just exploring, consuming. That's something I talked a lot about, especially at the end of my high school career, is just how important it is for humans to balance their consumption and production. Ralph Waldo Emerson talks about having an intellectual identity in his work Nature. He talks about the transparent eyeball and that concept, and what that is something that you aim to achieve when you strip yourself of as much bias as possible by listening as much as you create.
Exactly. Right. Listening as much as you're talking as well. And it's very important. You can't have a good, solid conversation unless each is listening and each is contributing. And it's the same thing with art and with performance. And I'm hoping with this reset that we're going through, we're going to come out of this. And I've said this multiple times on this show and other shows that I host, that what we're going through now is sort of a little bit of a reset, that maybe we will listen. We'll be kinder, more empathetic. We will care more. We will appreciate the simpler things in life more, the depth of life a little bit more, because we were getting a little fast paced and everything was really all about the buzz and the bling and and now we have this epic situation that's happened in this year on so many different levels, but yet art and beauty and nature and nostalgic TV shows and good old movies and great music and creativity is still there. And in many ways, nature and art are getting people through some of the chaos of what we're going through, because they tend to be constants. You can go out, there's the ocean, there's the forest, put on the music, there's those sounds that you love. Watch an old TV show that you loved when you were a kid. It's there for you. So we're tapping into a lot of different things right now. We're going back a little bit in ways where we're getting in touch once again and reignited. The flame is being reignited as far as understanding the human condition. And I think really understanding that empathy and kindness are essential and that we all need each other. We all have something to contribute. We all have something to give. We all have something. We might not agree with each other. We might not all look the same and like the same food or whatever, but we all have something to give. And if we have the opportunity to express it and then the opportunity to be heard, whether it's through performance or anything else, it's truly a beautiful thing, right?
Yes.
I have more, but wait, folks, there's more. We have another piece here that we're going to share with everybody. And we got this set up, and this one here, this is Sing What You Love. I mean, this is a perfect segue for what we are just talking about here. So let's enjoy this right now with Ellis.
Who here is familiar with the notion that children working in theater are mature beyond their years? Raise your hand. Okay, it's not a foreign concept, but it's a thing. I promise, it's definitely a thing. I remember this one project I was so excited to be called back for, and I thought I would just go right back in and sing the same thing that I had initially auditioned with. It was, he's got high hopes, he's got high hopes. It's the one about the ant who can't move the rubber tree plant, things that kids like to sing about. And it famously ends with a kerplop. That's my least favorite thing I ever had to do. That kerplop, I hated it. But right before I was about to go in, the monitor came out and said, so our casting director would really like to hear something different today. He wants to hear just something you love. Sing something that makes you happy. So I got really, really excited, and I went to the back of the book, and I went into the room and leaned on the piano like this. My one love affair didn't get anywhere from the start. To send me a joke like winter and snow in his heart wasn't smart. You didn't do right by me, as they say in the song. You done me wrong. And bear in mind, I'm 11. I'm an 11-year-old boy auditioning to play an 11-year-old boy. So I look down to say my thank yous, and everyone in the room, their face is like across the board. It is the biggest I've ever seen. The accompanist, the reader, and the casting director breaks the silence and he says, Ellis, I'm going to be very honest with you. That made me a little uncomfortable. And I'm this little Irving Berlin fanatic. I don't know what he's talking about or why he feels this way. So he elaborates. He just says, just speaking as a casting director, never show anyone that, ever. He said, it's a bit jarring to hear the voice and really see the choices of a divorcee in her 30s coming out of a male child. You are so talented, but I don't know what to do with that. No one will ever be able to cast that. So from that point on, I was a good little boy, and I only sang songs written for good little boys, even though that jaded, sultry, Audra Jessica rabbit that was living deep inside me was ready to trigger at any moment and show everyone that I was more complicated than Gary, Indiana. Anyway, I did have a fantastic fantasy life. I used to imagine everyone behind the table saying to me, "Ellis, do you want to sing age and gender inappropriate material?" And I'd say, "Yeah, no shit." Where is love? Does it fall from skies above? Is it underneath the willow tree that I've been dreaming of? Where is love? I want it. Here I am, St. Valentine. My bags are packed. I'm first in line. Aphrodite, don't forget me. Romeo and Juliet me. Fly dove, sing sparrow. Give me fat boys, famous arrow. Give me that thing called Big Elegance Pool. This might be a pool like I've read of in books, connected to one of those underground brooks, an underground river that starts here and flows right into the bathtub, and then who knows, committing some profit. Life is a cabaret, oh chum. Come to the cabaret. Come taste the wine. Come hear the band. Come blow a horn. Start celebrating. Right this way, you're my best girl. And nothing you do is wrong. I'm proud you belong to me. And if a day is rough for me, having you there enough for me. My meadowlark, symphony of the silver morn, past the sea where the dolphins bark. We will dance on the coral beaches, make a feast of the plums and peaches, just as far as your vision reaches. Fly with me. Meadowlark said no. I believe they are confused about conclusions they concluded long ago. If my father and your mother are not sure of what they absolutely know, can you tell me why they fight? They fight to prove that what they do not know. Not a day goes by, not a blessed day, but you're still somehow part of my life, and you won't go away, so there's hell to pay, and until I die, I'll die day after day after day after day after day after day after. Hey, I had strings, but now I'm free. I'm as happy as can be. I want the world to know. I'll march I'll beat my drum, and if I fanned out, your turn at bat, sir. At least I didn't fake it out, sir. I guess I didn't make it. Get ready for me, love, cause I'm a comer. I simply gotta march my heart to drummer. Nobody, no, nobody is gonna rain on my parade.
my gosh. That was so much fun. That was so much fun. And Nisa Kale was on piano doing a lot of acrobatics. There were like 12 songs she had to go through.
And that was just last year, right? 2019 it shows.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, fall of 2019.
Wow. So what was that like? I mean, being up there and you getting that fanfare that, you know, obviously people were really enjoying it and you got to be lighthearted and comical as well as, you know, belt out those songs. What was that like for you?
Oh, well, the nicest part, and the part that's most important to me is that the audience was a little drunk. Because I got to go at the end. I was the last one. So so that's always the time when everyone's loose enough to have a good time, to enjoy themselves. No, but it was lots and lots of fun. I know I keep saying that, but that's the only word I can think of. And I think it was reflective of always having wanted to do that. Mm-hmm. As a young person, having to sing these songs that I just barely connected with, but just finally getting to have the fun and to really play with the songs written for characters I would never be able to play.
Absolutely. Great stuff, I tell you. And we have some more. I see another one here that we're going to share, and this is Imaginary Boy. Oh, wow. Tell us about this one here. Going to get this one set up.
This is a show that's been in development for a while. June Ospa wrote the lyrics for it. But it's a musical about a boy in high school with Tourette's syndrome. And it's really about how he deals with the bullying and the depression that comes from living with this condition. And one of the book writers, Stephen, sort of talks a little bit about his experience as someone who overcame the adverse nature of living with Tourette's and kind of beat all the odds.
All right. It's time for Imaginary Boy. Here we go. And here is Ellis once again. Another wonderful performance in store on the Jim Masters Show live.
Guess you know my name. Michael. I'm living in Detroit. My brother plays this game. He pretends I don't exist. Acts like he's an only child. It's kind of wild, right? Even on the bus, I hate school. Larry doesn't see me. He treats me like a fool. He'd love for them to crush me flat. Imagine that. Imaginary. Boy.
My name's Steve McCall. I am the book writer for Imaginary Boy, the musical. One of the hardest parts of having Tourette's syndrome is the feeling of not being wanted. Nobody understands you. Being bullied over something you can't help. Nobody knew actually how I felt because I had nobody to talk to. My father had a gun in the house. It was fully loaded. I took the gun and I put the gun straight up to my head. And I just looked up literally and said, if there's anything else to live for, I need a sign right now. And immediately, for the first time in life, I felt like I had hope. I dropped the gun, and from that day, I said, I have to serve and I have to help people.
Got a room, got a bed in a house, lonely. Every night, I got a place and a seat where I eat, feel empty. never sweet. Run away, go away. I should find a way to run away. They won't even miss me. I think it's kinda strange. It's like I'm dead. No one says hello. I'm here. They don't hear a word I say. I wish I knew what I could do. Wish I had some proof. How will I survive? Somebody look at me. I'm alive. Do I have to scream and shout? Do I have to scream and shout? Can you see me? Can you see me? Imagine it.
Such a freak.
Free boy. Wish there was a way to hide and stop from being strange.
Having Tourette syndrome can be a very lonely and dark time for anybody. Everything that people said that I couldn't do, I start doing it. So I decided to start serving the community with the Tourette Association of America to reach out to other kids who are just like me with Tourette syndrome. Joined the National Board of Directors, and then I had an opportunity to work for the United States Senate, where I've been able to help shape policy on education, on health policy. You can give me a pill, you can give me medicine to subside the tics, but really what saved my life was everybody in the community embracing me, and that is what's embodied in the Imaginary Boy.
Very beautiful, very, very touching.
Such an important story too. I remember that was one of the first projects I got involved in, sort of as a legal adult. I think I was 18 the first time I worked on that. But it was good just to be reminded of, like, this is what this is. This is what this is about.
And people live with that every day, and sometimes we, don't appreciate that, and we don't understand it. And sometimes when we don't understand something, we also fear it. And that's why knowledge is power. And sometimes you gain that knowledge through music, singing, acting, performance can actually tell a story as beautifully as that does. The instrumentation, the composition, the lyrics by June, the interpretation by you, all blend together quite beautifully, Ellis.
Yeah. I'm still playing teenagers, by the way. I didn't expect that.
That's gonna happen.
I didn't think that would be happening. There's this ongoing joke that once you're in your 30s, you're ready to start playing teenagers on Broadway.
That's what happens. Exactly. Right. Exactly. So I guess that's a good thing.
Yes.
So when you're 60, you'll be playing 40-year-olds, I guess, right?
There we go.
If you think of it that way. We have another song here, the 12 Voices of Christmas. Wow.
This just for some background. This was like a funny joke video I made for my grandparents. I always loved going to my dad's parents' house around the holiday season and decorating and listening to all the old-timey music. So
all the good stuff. Yeah.
This was my love letter to all that music. And since then it's made the rounds quite a bit on the internet, more than I thought, because I posted it that year. And I've walked into like I've walked into EPAs, I've walked into auditions where they're like, wait, you're the boy from the Christmas video. So it's a thing. I've worked as a Frank Sinatra impersonator in the last couple of years.
See, and you take on Andy Williams too, who's actually one of my favorites. That's because of my dad always having Andy on and all those Christmas specials and all the Christmas holiday.
Ringing a Bass, are you kidding?
Yeah, Ringing a Bass, Rudolph.
I wrote a mashup of like all their stuff, like the song that Miss Jessica sings from Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and There's Always Tomorrow. There are so many little pieces of music in those. The score for 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. I remember I did a Sirius XM segment with Joel Grey, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, the MC, he's this icon," and I was just like, "You're Joshua Trundle." No, I don't know the MC. You're the animated guy from 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
Well, Mickey Rooney was the mailman in Santa Claus is Coming to Town, I think, and
he was Santa Claus. It was Fred Astaire.
Fred Astaire was the mailman. That's right. And there was also the Easter Bunny's Coming to Town. They did that, Rankin and Bass. They did so many. Little Drummer Boy, and that was also during that time period where they didn't do it, but Gumby, Pokey, Davy and Goliath. All of that stop action animation, which was really difficult, time-consuming work to put those together, but they're classics. And now you see all of these, holiday time, and there's so many incredible songs. The Year Without a Santa Claus, that one too. These are classics. So if
you really want to get an audience excited one night, like go up there with your best friend and do the dueling Heat Miser or Snow Miser song.
Yes, I am the Heat Miser. That's right. All right, so let's take a look at this fabulous extravaganza as we take you. It's hot out. At least it's hot here in the Northeast. So we're going to cool you off with some Ellis and some Christmas
in July.
Christmas in July. That's what they're saying on QVC and Home Shopping Network right now. Christmas in July sales. So we're going to celebrate Christmas and also put a smile on your face. I think something we all could use about now with everything that we've been dealing with collectively globally. So Jim Masters Show Live with Ellis. We're going to celebrate Christmas together early. And then hopefully maybe we'll see you at Christmas time as well. Here we go. Enjoy. It is our gift to you.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time. It's the most wonderful time. Oh, the most wonderful time of the year. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Oh, he sees you when you're sleeping, and he knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming. I'm the big fat man with the long white beard. He's coming to town. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. Oh, the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbye. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10, glistening once again, with candy canes and silver lanes aglow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Soon the bells will start, and the thing that'll make them ring is the carol that you'll sing right within your heart. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Christmas, 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 Christmas. I met a man in Pennsylvania. Folks are traveling down to Dixie's sunny shore. From Atlantic to Pacific, gee, the traffic is terrific. Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays, 'cause no matter how far away you roam, if you wanna be happy in a million ways, for the holidays you can't be home, sweet home. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas night. I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'd be so blue just thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree won't be the same, dear, if you're not here with me. And when those blue snowflakes start falling, that's when those blue memories start calling. You'll be doing alright with your Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue, 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 blue Christmas. Tannenbaum, oh Tannenbaum, resplendent la notte. Oh Christmas tree, your branches green delight us. They're green when summer days are bright, they're green when winter snow is white. Oh Tannenbaum, your branches green delight us. Jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock. Mix and a mingle in the jingling feet. That's the jingle bell, that's the jingle bell, that's the jingle bell rock. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the reins. Bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and bright. So hang your stockings and say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. He's got a bag that's filled with toys for boys and girls again. Hear those sleigh bells jingle jangle, oh what a beautiful sight. So jump in bed and cover your head, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
Really beautiful, really nice. Oh my God.
People have been making the argument.
The 12 days of Christmas.
People have been making the argument that in our self-isolation, we should just break out all the Christmas decorations and start watching the movies, because it's starting to feel like that.
Yes.
Like that time of year is when we're all locked up inside and everything is closed and we're just with our families.
And it's more joyous and everybody's more loving, and you have the food and the gifts and the lights, and just it's my favorite time of year. When I was a kid, I used to always hate the day after Christmas, because even though it stretched till New Year's and the lights and everything was still up, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day were such a monumental thing, with all the relatives and music and food and cookies and God and love. And I mean, it's every sense there is all happening at once, and it's extraordinary. It's my favorite time of year. And I think around Christmas, if not sooner, we'll have you come back and we'll have you actually do some Christmas songs right here on our show. That'd be great.
That would make me very happy. I will always sing Christmas music.
Yeah, that's some of my favorite music as well to listen to sing. You'll be surprised, but I'm a huge collector of music too, and I played violin when I was younger and doing guitar now.
Oh.
But I have a climate controlled. You'll probably get this. I have a climate controlled storage bin that we pay monthly for that has hundreds of records. A lot of them are sealed records, really great music, CDs, reel-to-reel tapes, cassettes, all kinds of music. 2,000 of the CDs and records are Christmas of the thousands that are in it. All kinds, even the Percy Faith and his orchestra and some of the Manavani, some of the instrumental stuff, Ray Conniff, singers, all of that comes back during the holiday time, and some of the newer stuff as well. It was really cool to see you be able to take on all those different voices. I mean, we thought that we were actually listening to the originals. Do you wish that you would have been able to do a duet with any of them?
Oh, absolutely. I've always wanted to take the stage with Frank Sinatra, just because he's just that classic voice that and love, and possibly Dean Martin too. I wouldn't let him drink because he's notorious for like always being completely plastered when he went on, especially in the later years. But yeah, and any day of the week.
Any day of the week. Yeah, Nat King Cole, Andy Williams. I mean, some of these, Perry Como, Elvis. I mean, even Johnny Mathis too.
Yes.
You really hit upon some Christmas favorites there. And how long did it take you to study their voices to be able to interpret them so beautifully?
I did the recording itself in one night, but I guess how long had I been listening and studying all my life? I grew up with it. It's one of those things where like I couldn't have learned that in a week. I needed to grow up with these voices being present for the same 2 months every year.
Right, exactly. If not longer. I have friends that listen to Christmas music all year long. Somebody asks, Merlin asks, who would you like to sing with now? Of anybody that's around now.
I like to sing with now. Ooh, of those, I mean, I know Michael Bublé is still around and thriving. That would be fun. Oh my goodness, that's a very good question. My sister, she's got a great voice, and sometimes we just sing together for fun.
My sister and I do that too. Yeah, there's something about the brother-sister thing. Yeah.
But we've been doing it the longest, I will say. We started just putting on shows in our basement and collecting various costumes and furniture that we used as set pieces to our parents' chagrin. Like we made a mess in that basement, but.
It's funny, we did that too. We did the basements, we did it in our bedrooms, and we would use like the drapery and take a rope, and the drapery would be the curtain, the bed would be the stage, and then of course we'd have chairs set up for people to come in, like our parents, to watch my sister and I, and we'd do a whole big reveal and this whole thing. And then of course my mother would be like, "You're using our good drapes?" Yes. We used to do plays in the garage, and the neighborhood kids would come over. Those are the early inspirations, right? Doing those things in the basement, in the garage.
We always loved Peter Pan. We loved the.
How did you manage that?
Broadway, the Broadway sound cushions. We stood on chairs. It was a high quality. It wasn't equity, but it was fine.
But it's right there.
It was quite a liability, but we always loved the Mary Martin CD. We'd listen to that. Years later, I got to work with Phyllis Newman when she revamped some of the music for an album of her late husband Adolph Green. A lot of that score she brought back. It was attached to an audiobook. We lost Phyllis last year.
Yeah, we did.
Frequently, but she's a great example of someone who left a huge mark on the theater community. With
Linda in Florida says Celine Dion and Ellis would be a great pair together.
Yes. Oh, I love when Celine Dion sings in the credits of Disney movies.
Yes, absolutely. Great talent we're talking about here tonight on the show. And I'm glad we're sharing all of this because people are learning about you as well. Fans are here that know of you, and new faces around the world that are discovering you here on the show. And that's what I love to do on the program. Now, you want to do something live for us as well, right?
I will. I didn't realize we were gonna watch my entire catalog, but I absolutely.
This is like the Dick Cavett show, where it's a conversation for no time limit.
Yeah, I respect that. So this piece, one of the first quarantine projects I think that I got involved in was this really, really fun, community engaging production of a new musical version of the Peter Pan story, called Pete, Her, Pan, and it's her in parentheses because it's from Jane's point of view, Wendy's daughter. She goes back and is a part of the whole original journey in this version. And it was so much fun. It was organized by Ben Liebert and Kirsten Wyatt, two phenomenal Broadway actors. And it was just, it was other actors who submitted videos and were playing parts. So they stitched together the entire musical from just video submissions, from families, from actors, from people who've never performed before. And it was just this big, beautiful celebration of the arts are here, the arts are alive, they're going nowhere. And this song, I sang it in this virtual production. It's written by Doug Lyons, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard of him. He's a actor, he's a composer, he's absolutely phenomenal. He's doing some film right now, but what he started recently was the Next Wave Initiative as a part of the Directors Company. So basically what that is it's a developmental branch of the Directors Company, and it's committed to amplifying future Black voices in the American theater. We've seen a lot of conversations taking place about community and equity and diversity. I mean, in my world and in my network, as it pertains to the workplace that is the theater industry. But in buying a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, you're contributing to this scholarship fund for young Black artists who need that funding to get that training. And one of the arguments I've heard so many times about why the industry is in such questionable shape when it comes to its representation of people of color is that there are just not as many in the room. There are not as many who show up to the auditions. And when you think about that, that is the reality now because of the resources that we're offering, that the American system is able to offer students and people who start at a young age. These young people of color need to know that they have this opportunity right off the bat when they're young, so that in the future, holding rooms can be full of people of all backgrounds and all colors. And that's something really amazing that Doug is doing. So check out Next Wave Initiative if you can.
Terrific. All right.
And this is the song.
All right. Take it away, Ellis.
There she goes, drifting away into the waves. Starlight will guide her home with grace. Tears in her eyes, sweat on her face. She's so afraid I won't be safe, but I've got the moonlight. It smiles on me, so I never feel alone. I'll make it through the night, or maybe I won't. But if I die, there's an adventure waiting for me. Beyond the skies, something is calling that I wanna see. Water eyes, come and take me away to my dreams. Peter, hold tight. We don't do fright. We soar without wings. Who knows? Above the clouds, shouting out loud, there may be dragons I could slay. Daring above, oh how I love fighting battles every day. And though I can't see it, I'm not afraid. Though this may be my end, I've gotta believe this is where it begins. I won't cry, there's always adventure waiting for me. Beyond blue skies, something is calling. What could it be? Water eyes, come and take me away to my dreams. Peter, hold tight. We don't do fright. We soar without wings in the unknown towards a bright horizon. There on my own, I'll be a boy forever. Grow up, never. There's a surprise awaiting my eyes on the other side. I'm willing to go. In the river I'll flow. If it's my time, there's always adventure waiting for me. Beyond the skies, something is calling, and I wanna see. Water rise, it could take me away to my dreams. Peter, hold tight, no need for fright. Remember one thing, if it all ends tonight, then I did it right. I soared without wings.
Really beautiful. Really.
Beautiful song, right? Check it out. Peter Pan. It's Pete, parentheses, her, Pan. It's adorable.
Really, really, really nice. And you knocked that out of the park. And so many wonderful comments coming in from people around the world, our faithful viewers. Willie giving you lots of claps there in Holland. And Merlin in Canada loved it. Spellbinding voice of Ellis. Danilo in San Diego. Carla, who's a faithful viewer in Brazil, loving it. Good to see you tonight, Carla. She's usually here on the weekends with us. Renee Katz, I don't know if you know Renee. She's in New York City, cabaret star. We had her as a guest recently. Of course, June, super. Marilyn in Kansas, wow. So good stuff. Really, really beautiful. Good choice of material tonight. Was there one more that you wanted to share with us?
I could. It's sure. Why not? Yes.
What the heck?
Yes, I had something else.
Yeah.
This is something I debuted at Birdland earlier in the year, before we were all closed.
Yeah.
I always loved the Judy. Am I about to mess up? No. Yes. Judy Garland, Barbra Streisand duet of Happy Days Are Here Again, and Come On Get Happy. I thought that was such a cool mashup, and I kind of got jealous and wanted to write my own happy mashup. So this is what came out the other end. What care I who makes the laws of the nation? Let those who will take care of its rights and wrongs. What care I who cares for the world's affairs, as long as I can sing its popular song and make someone happy. Make just one someone happy. Make just one heart the heart you sing to. One smile that cheers you. One face that lights when it nears you. One love you're everything to. Fame, if you win it, comes and goes in a minute. Where's the real stuff in life to cling to? Love is the answer. Someone to love is the answer. Once you've found them, build your world around them. Make someone happy. Make just one someone happy, and you will be happy too. I have to use the mic. Let me sing a funny song with crazy words that roll along. And if my song can start you laughing, I'm happy, happy. Let me sing a sad refrain of broken hearts that loved in vain. And if my song can start you crying, I'm happy. Let me croon a low-down blues to lift you out of your seat. Oh, if my song can reach your shoes and start you tapping your feet, I'm happy. Let me sing of Dixie's charm, the Swanee shore and mother's arms. And if my song can make you homesick, I'm happy. Whoa, whoa, scuba doo, scabba dee, dabba dwee, da dee ba da ba da. Make just one someone happy. If my song can reach your shoes and start you tapping your feet, then I have made someone happy. And that makes me very happy. A sad refrain, a funny song, a lullaby. You can't go wrong with love. That's the answer. Someone to hold close and love is the answer. If my song can make someone happy, make you happy, make even just one someone happy, make someone homesick, start someone laughing, start someone crying, I'm happy, and you You will be happy.
Bravo, bravo. Really, really nice. You even brought in the lamp and everything. You had the props. You worked those props.
It's the weirdest thing to sing without a mic now.
Yeah,
I've
right.
done my share of these virtual cabarets, and I'm like, that's what's missing. So sometimes I just get a wine bottle or something, and I just
go.
Yeah.
A couple people asked, do you have an album out?
Do I have an album? I don't. People have said that's
write
something,
that one down.
Yeah,
right?
something I should do. I've just been kind of busy with theater projects. It's kind of fallen off my to-do list, but that's a good recommendation. That would be fun.
Something on the list that you've been thinking about, right? Yeah,
Yes.
I think a lot of people would respond. So when you look at some of the amazing work that you've had an opportunity to be a part of, Ellis, some of these wonderful projects and expressing your joy and passion for what you do, what are some other things that you see in the horizon that you would love to tackle along the way as well as you continue your beautiful journey?
Yes. Well, I got really into conversations about, as I've said, the importance of community, equity, diversity in any workplace, but really in my workplace being the theater. So I've seen such an inspiring eruption of artists coming forward to really use what they know and learn what they need to know to use their art and utilize the way they know how to be creative and how to contribute to the world as best they can, and to really marry that to a much needed shift and a fight for equality in the world right now. So really any way that I can be a part of that. I've been a part of National Asian Artist Project for the past couple of years. I know Diane Phelan, she's wonderful. She started the Broadway Diversity Project, and I know that there are forums and conversations happening at Equity right now. So so that's all good. As I've said, I'd really love to tackle it from a younger level. I've always loved working with kids. I've been a theater camp counselor. I've directed children's theater. A lot of that translated into my work at St. Mark's and really kind of creating a program. And there's really no reason other than busyness and needing to sleep that I couldn't start more programs, start more things from the ground up. I learned very, very early on that no artist can do just one thing or be an empty vessel. You know, I knew that at the time I started working, I was always a tall kid. I'm a very tall person, and there weren't a lot of opportunities for someone my age and my height. It was kind of just, I was like a walking non sequitur, and I kind of found there, and from experiencing that, just the importance of doing your own thing, starting your own thing, and as I've said, making art in any way that you know how, by whatever means necessary. So I would love to continue to educate. I work with kids now. I am an instructor at Broadway Youth Ensemble. I've just kind of been all over the place, and I think it's important for kids who are working professionally or not, just to feel seen and heard, and for their interests and their passion to be embraced, because that's something I'm so lucky that I had growing up. I definitely wouldn't still be working in this industry if I did not grow up around adults who 75% of the time were conscious of there being a young energy in the room and really harnessing that and
That's right.
and really just acting as good mentors. So giving that back as much as I can, and just spreading the good news, spreading the word. Like we're here, we're doing this. It's great.
That's right.
You love it.
That's right. Exactly right. You know, you mentioned the Broadway Youth Ensemble, and they are usually
You had I'm sorry, you had Olivia Clark on.
yes.
She was one of my kids there. She's amazing.
And usually they're all at the Carnegie Hall holiday concert with Tim Janis,
Yeah.
who is a friend of mine for years. I've interviewed him on public television. We're dear friends. I've emceed several of those Carnegie Hall concerts and other events for Tim. We just did a public television special, Celtic Heart, and the Broadway Youth Ensemble is usually always there, and it's a great. Have you had an opportunity to go to those holiday concerts?
Yeah. I've helped run the last two.
So we've probably seen each other in the hallway.
We've probably seen each other in the hallway. I mean, I always say that with anyone who's even kind of a part of the industry. Like, we've probably met before, and we just weren't formally introduced. But
Right.
the world,
there's a lot of running around during that event. There's so much going on, and it's really
they have hundreds of performers.
yeah, it's
Those
really
nights, yeah,
and it
everyone
always
does it.
it's set for like 2 hours, but it ends up going to 3 or what have you, and it's quite an event. And I
The
always
kids
love
place
seeing it.
bets. The kids place bets on how late they're
It's
going
going to run.
and how off the schedule it's going to be. It's a beautiful disaster. But
And
it's
the
always-
chop, right? Exactly. So yeah, I'm sure that we've been with everybody. Mairead Nesbitt, who's a friend of mine from Celtic Woman, she's usually always there. Paul Green has been there.
They
So
sang
many.
with Paul last year.
Paul, yep, that's right. Yeah, Paul. Yeah. We've been right there. It's all coming together now. It's amazing.
Mhm.
It's fantastic. It is a very small world.
I was a member of the group back when it kind of first started. Even after it had initially begun, but I did work with Joe Baker, one of the instructor's daughter, and we connected. He's wonderful. I still work with him, and yeah, it's a fun family.
And Matt Fanzini, you know, Matt at all, he's usually there as well. He brings in the kids too. I think that's the Chesapeake group that comes in along with the Broadway Youth Ensemble. I mean, there's so many people involved in that. It's just a beautiful performance. I don't believe happening this year because Carnegie Hall, everything is canceled till January or February of next year. But it really is a small world. It really, really is.
I would ask the team. I would ask Tim Janis if he'd consider doing something virtual.
Yeah, I think I will. That might be something that will happen. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Why not? Everybody is these days. It's becoming the new normal. I know people overuse that, but it really is becoming the new normal.
You do what you can.
You do what you can. That's what we're all doing, exactly, to keep inspiring others while continuing to inspire ourselves. Ellis, this was fantastic, and everybody has enjoyed it, and it was my pleasure to have you on as my guest. You're welcome back anytime you like, my friend, and I know we've worked together at Carnegie Hall. It's just amazing that this came together in this form, which I think is pretty cool. Nothing in life is necessarily always coincidental. And I wish you continued success. The door's always open. You're welcome back anytime. And I really hope you enjoyed your time with me as much as I have with you, Ellis.
It was an absolute blast. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I had a great time. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, joined us tonight.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. You take care. You be well. And thanks. And thanks to your family for letting you use that room for your studio tonight.
Seriously, it's a nice one. I need to invest in a ring light because I don't have a proper home studio here in Methuen.
That's right. And they're like, bravo, standing ovations. I know the family's probably on the other side of the door saying, I thought he was only going to do this for a half hour. His dinner's getting cold. He's going to have to reheat it. Take care, my friend.
Thank you, Jim. Talk soon. Bye.
Yeah, we'll see you again. Bye-bye now. Now, fantastic. Wonderful to have him here on the show. And, you know, we have worked together at Carnegie Hall. As he was talking about some of those names, I'm like, I know, because I've emceed several of those concerts at Carnegie Hall, have emceed the after parties, have greeted, you know, some of the guests that are coming in. And it's really a beautiful event at Carnegie Hall each year. I don't know if you get a chance to go. Maybe it'll be virtual this year, but I always love being a part of it. And Tim and I met, oh boy, way back when I interviewed him on one of his public television specials. We've always stayed in touch, and I've worked with him on several other projects as well, including the Carnegie Hall project, a recent public television special, and so much more. Really cool stuff. With that, I interviewed several of the artists behind the scenes for the public television special, and it's all on the DVD for Celtic Heart. And of course, the new movie Buttons that was out. And yes, Olivia Clark, she was here. If you missed that interview, she was with us as well. She played the little girl in Buttons. She got the chance to work with Dick Van Dyke. It was really cool. So we thank our wonderful guest, Ellis, and I will run through a couple of pictures here again. If you're not familiar, and now you are and you love it. Again, this was a great honor for him too, singing at the US Open. Of course, there's a great shot of him here too. Some more shots. I always like to show the shots, how he has transformed over the years as well. So again, this show is always about light, levity, and love. I'm always introducing you to new ideas, inspirations, information, education, entertainment, whatever it may be. No two shows are alike. And we were live earlier today with a very special show. And it was a pleasure to do that. Maybe I'll do that some more. Now we're going to do, just before you guys leave, I had promised we're going to do just a little bit of a nice tribute to the one and only Regis Philbin, who we lost last night, I believe it was, or it might have been, yeah, I think it was yesterday. And he was just somebody that was absolutely, truly amazing as far as an entertainer, an all-around entertainer. And if you're just hearing this for the first time, I hate to be the bearer of the sad news, but as a television host myself, as a presenter, a performer, an entertainer, Regis was one of my favorites. And I had the opportunity on several occasions to chat with Regis Philbin, and a real delight, a real hoot, a real class act, polish, professionalism, humor, quick wit. Regis, absolutely amazing. And these are some shots when we were together last. And we're going to miss him. We're really going to miss him. Of course, if you don't know some of the history, he started as the sidekick to Joey Bishop on the Joey Bishop Show. And of course, many other things prior to that. But then when WABC TV Channel 7 in New York City said, we want to create a morning show, they brought in Regis Philbin, and Cindy Garvey was the first host, ex-wife of the ball player Steve Garvey. And then when she left, there was Ann Abernathy. And then there was Kathie Lee Gifford, who I had the opportunity to chat with as well as Frank Gifford. And it was called The Morning Show. And it was a local show on Channel 7. And that became history, because then it was called Live with Regis and Kathie Lee. I'm sure she's probably devastated with the loss of, Frank, her husband, Frank Gifford, just a couple of years ago. And now Regis, her other partner. They really had a tremendous bond, and they were so good together. I also loved when Regis's wife, Joy, would fill in. She kept Regis in check. She was always fantastic. And then when Kathie Lee had moved on, Kelly Ripa came in, and the bond between Regis and Kelly Ripa was extraordinary, and lasted many, many years. And then Regis had moved on as well. And of course, he was the original host of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and fantastic at that. Matter of fact, Jimmy Kimmel just recently had Regis on set, because Jimmy's been hosting it, and he had Regis on set, and they went back to the set, and Regis was there, and it was really, really terrific. So again, when you look at all these pictures over the years with the incomparable Regis Philbin, his wit, his charm, he used to perform a lot with Don Rickles. He was an actor. He was a singer. I had, again, the great joy of knowing him, and it's quite a loss of a national treasure. He's got that old school way about him. And again, as a host myself, he was he was on the list of some of my favorite hosts as the years have gone on. Just a wonderful person. So we say so long and farewell. Rest in peace to the incredible Regis Francis Xavier Philbin, born August 25th, 1931, passed July 24th, 2020. American media personality, actor, and singer, known for hosting talk and game shows since the 1960s, having been called the hardest working man in show business. Regis Philbin holds the Guinness World Record for the most hours on United States television. His trademarks include his excited manner, "Hey, I'm Regis," his New York accent, his wit, and his irreverent ad-libs. Some people say that I remind them of a younger Regis. I've heard that for years, and I'll take it, coming from New York originally myself. After graduating from the University of Notre Dame, he served in the U.S. Navy, and he got his television start, again, serving as a page for The Tonight Show in the 1950s. Regis gained his first network TV exposure in 1967 as Joey Bishop's sidekick on The Joey Bishop Show. Regis is most widely known for having been the co-host of the New York City-based nationally syndicated talk show Live with Regis and Kathy Lee, starting in 1988. The actual show, the morning show that Regis was on just prior, started in 1983 and still is produced at WABC Channel 7 in New York City. Then it became Live with Regis and Kelly starting in 2001. And then Regis moved on in 2011. Regis debuted and hosted the U.S. version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Also, $1 Million Password and the first session of America's Got Talent. That's right. I don't know if you remember that the very first host of America's Got Talent was Regis Philbin. He used to fly from New York to L.A., tape the episodes, and then fly back to New York. He's funny. I always loved his expression when he used to always say, "I'm saving the network." And he always would say, "I'm only one man," because he would take on so much. Again, he was born in New York City. His father, Frank Philbin, a U.S. Marine who served in the Pacific, was one of Irish heritage. And his mother, Philomena Florence, was of Italian immigrant heritage and descendant of Campania. They lived in the Van Nest section of the Bronx in New York, and Philbin had a Catholic upbringing. He was supposedly named Regis because his father wanted him to attend the prestigious Regis High School. It was long believed that Regis Philbin was an only child, but on February 1st, 2007, broadcast on Live with Regis and Kelly, Regis Philbin announced that he did have a brother, Frank M. Philbin, who was born in 1951 and passed in 2007. He had died from non-Hodgkin lymphoma several days earlier. Regis Philbin said his brother, 20 years younger than he, had asked not to be mentioned on television or in the press, and he wanted to remain anonymous and quiet. Regis attended Our Lady of Solace Grammar School in the Bronx, and he graduated from Cardinal Hayes High School, which he mentioned often on the show, in 1949 before attending the University of Notre Dame, from which he graduated in 1953 with a sociology degree. He later served in the United States Navy as a supply officer, then went through a few behind-the-scenes jobs in television and radio before moving into the broadcast arena. And I'm so glad, and we are all so glad that he did. In his earliest show business work, Regis was a page at The Tonight Show in 1955. Later, he wrote for the Los Angeles-based talk show host Tom Duggan, and nervously filled in one night when the hard-drinking Duggan didn't show up. He also was an announcer on The Tonight Show in 1962. In 1957, Regis left his job as an assistant news editor to Baxter Ward at KCOP in Los Angeles to make his fortune in New York City. His retirement at KCOP was really amazing. And his first talk show was the Regis Philbin Show on KOGO TV, now KGTV in San Diego. And for financial reasons, he had no writing staff, so he began each show with what has become his hallmark host chat segment. Sounds kind of familiar with what I do here on this show, doesn't it? The host chat segment in the beginning. I am the writing staff and the producer and the technical director and the host and the continuity and audience coordinator. It's the way it is. And so he did all of that as well, which is really quite amazing. He did the host chat segment, which influenced Jack Paar when he engaged his audience, which I love to do. I've learned from people like Dick Clark and Johnny Carson and even Ryan Seacrest does it as well. Kelly Ripa does it. They all do it. Ellen does it. Oprah did it. Engaging the audience, respecting the audience. Regis is one of the first. Merv Griffin, Steve Allen, Dick Cavett, Mike Douglas, some of the real greats. Dick Clark, again, I mentioned. So that influenced Jack Paar, where he engaged the audience and later his co-host in discussions about his life and day's events, which is what I kind of do in the beginning. I did that this morning when we did our pop-up show. We were just talking randomly, no script. There was no guest. It was just us talking, and we had a ball. And I promise I'll do more of those for you guys. If you didn't see this morning's pop-up edition of the Jim Masters Show Live, it's on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. It says Levity on Saturday. In 1964, Westinghouse Broadcasting picked up Regis Philbin's talk show for national syndication in the late night time slot, replacing Steve Allen. The show failed to attract many stations, and Westinghouse replaced Regis with, of course, another great host, Merv Griffin. Regis gained his first network TV experience in 1967 as Joey Bishop's sidekick on The Joey Bishop Show, and on television from 67 to 69. In a Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon vein, Joey Bishop would playfully tease Regis Philbin, and he would take those barbs in stride. But his feelings were hurt when he learned from the network grapevine that ABC executives were dissatisfied with his work and his thick New York accent. So during the opening of one of the 1968 programs, he launched an unplanned diatribe about not being wanted and being let down. The program, he left, abruptly quit on the air. A few nights later, assured by Joey Bishop that all was well and the barbs were not personal, Regis returned. As revealed in his book, How I Got This Way, that was actually all a ruse planned by Joey Bishop and Regis. They planned that to steal the spotlight and attract some of Johnny's viewers. When the Joey Bishop show was canceled, Joey Bishop returned the favor and walked off the show on the air unannounced, leaving Regis Philbin to successfully carry the night on his own. In 64, he took over that show, replaced Steve Allen, and again, he was really one of the pioneers of television. From 75 to 81, he co-hosted AM Los Angeles, a local morning talk show on KABC TV, Channel 7. First with Sarah Purcell. I don't know, some of you may remember Sarah Purcell. She was one of the first hosts, or the hosts, of with Byron Allen, and I forget the other folks, on a show that used to run on NBC called Real People. And that was video of people doing crazy things, and it was on NBC. I think it was on Sunday nights. So Sarah Purcell was from 75 to 78. Then Cindy Garvey from 78 to 81. He was co-hosting AM Los Angeles with them. Regis's presence brought the show from the bottom of the local ratings to number 1 in Los Angeles. Now, during the early 1970s, Regis Philbin also commuted each weekend. Boy, his schedule sounds like mine. He he was in Los Angeles doing that show, but then he also commuted every weekend to St. Louis, where he filmed Regis Philbin's Saturday Night in St. Louis on KMOX TV, which is now KMOV TV. A 1978 book called The Great 1960s Quiz, authored by Dan Karlinski and published by Harper and Row, asked, who was Regis Philbin? The answer was Joey's Bishop's sidekick on his late night show. Philbin's seemingly trivial national media presence would soon be revived, because in 1981, Regis Philbin and Mary Hart, you know Mary Hart from Entertainment Tonight for many years, right? They co-hosted a national morning variety series for NBC. That show shows you how crazy and fickle this business is. That show lasted 18 weeks. That show lasted 18 weeks, which is really amazing. So you have that. And then after Cindy Garvey left Los Angeles in 1982, and when she left Los Angeles in 1982, well, everything continued, which was really, really amazing and really, really incredible, because she moved to New York. Regis Philbin rejoined her on the morning show on WABC TV, Channel 7. And at the time, the 9 a.m. slot for WABC suffered from low Nielsen ratings because of the competition from WNBC TV's Donahue. Of course, Phil Donahue, who happens to live in South Fork, Connecticut with his wife, Marlo Thomas, daughter of Danny Thomas. So when they started that show on Channel 7 in New York called The Morning Show, started in 1983 with Cindy Garvey, the ex-wife of the ball player Steve Garvey. It was Regis Philbin, Cindy Garvey, local show, Channel 7, New York City, WABC, seen locally. And it was struggling because it was competing against Donahue on Channel 4, WNBC, who already was established for many, many years. And Channel 2 in New York, WCBS TV, had a game show block, which was very entrenched. They had The Joker's Wild, they had Tic-Tac-Doe, and after Cindy Garvey left again, Ann Abernathy was briefly the co-host, and Regis Philbin then was paired with Kathy Lee Johnson at the time. Kathy Lee used to hum the notes on Name That Tune. Later, Kathy Lee Gifford. And in June of 1985, which was really, really interesting. Again, you might be learning some of this for the very first time. The ratings improved significantly. The show became nationally syndicated in September of 1988 as Live with Regis and Kathy Lee, and the success continued. The program replaced AM Los Angeles upon its cancellation in 1991 and was eventually picked up by all of the ABC-owned and operated stations. And of course, you know, everybody loved Regis and Kathy Lee together because they just were so funny the way they would poke at each other. In the 1980s, Regis Philbin also hosted Lifestyles with Regis Philbin on the Lifetime television network as well. You may remember that. And when Kathy Lee Gifford departed Live in 2000, the show was temporarily named Live with Regis Philbin, and he had guest hosts until a replacement was found. Regis won a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Talk Show Host in 2001. Kelly Ripa was chosen as the permanent co-host after they had lots of auditions. And of course, she came from All My Children. And she became the permanent co-host 2001. The show was renamed Live with Regis and Kelly. Their chemistry proved to be quite amazing and very successful as the show continued to enjoy high ratings. Regis set again a Guinness World Record for most hours on camera on his August 20th, 2004 show. The person before that just passed away about a week or so ago, and that was Hugh Downs. Hugh Downs was the original host with Barbara Walters of 2020 on ABC. That's a legendary show that goes back to the 1980s, 2020. And Hugh Downs and Barbara Walters were the original hosts. But Hugh, an extraordinary news broadcaster, extraordinary talent. He had the most hours on television. Regis Philbin surpassed that, which gave him a total of 15,188 hours on television. And on September 14th, 2006 episode of Live, his record was updated to 15,662 hours. In 2008, Regis Philbin's contract with ABC was renewed through 2011, and under the contract, he did quite well. He earned more than $21 million a year. He also received a similar contract with CBS for hosting $1 Million Password. I don't know if you remember that. He was hosting that as well. And then it was announced in 2009 that Regis and Kelly, during the World Record Breaker Week, that Regis Philbin's Guinness World Book of Record for most time spent in front of a TV camera had reached 16,000. Wow, 16. I'll have to continue doing this show. I'm going to continue doing this show 4 times a day to catch up to that, plus all my professional work on television and radio, and we've clocked many years on that. I don't know. That's a record to beat. 16,343. Wow. I think we're halfway there doing the Jim Master Show live, that's for sure. He also was a game show host, of course, as you know. He hosted The Neighbors, which was a short-lived game show on ABC from 75 to 76. The show had 2 female contestants guessing which of the 3 women neighbors said gossipy things about her. In 76, he was a field reporter for ABC's Almost Anything Goes. And that was an American adaptation of the British game show It's a Knockout. Both shows suffered from poor ratings. Again, nature of the business. But Regis was the original host of the U.S. version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? The ABC game show that had its roots in Britain. Millionaire was a big rating success in its 1999 debut. Boy, it's hard to believe that that show started in 1999. Whew, that long ago already. And it was intended as an occasional special series. ABC aired Millionaire as a regular series with frequent episodes, but its viewership slowly declined. After Millionaire was canceled, it was retooled in 2002 as a syndicated series hosted by another fabulous broadcaster, Meredith Vieira. ABC brought back Millionaire in 2004 with Regis Philbin and retitled it Who Wants to Be a Super Millionaire, a related series that was aired on a more limited basis. Regis Philbin had appeared in 11 episodes of a special edition of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, which started on August 9th, 2009. The 10th anniversary of the show, he was also a celebrity contestant in the version. Millionaire, in its syndicated format, uses guest hosts for selected weeks during the season. And Philbin hosted a week of episodes that aired in November 2009, coinciding with his 2009 surgery. Regis's Millionaire hosting duties won him a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Game Show Host in 2001. And in 2007, in an article in Time, he was listed among the 15 best game show hosts in history. And when Millionaire was honored on Game Show Network's Game Show Hall of Fame special, Regis Philbin's tenure as the show's host was praised. Lee Hampton, the executive producer at the time of the syndicated version, said that he knew when to take reign of it and when to sit back and let the contestant be the contestant. Really special. You could only have a minute or two with it before the questions began. He did everything he could to make them more available to the right answer. In 2005, ABC announced that Regis would host the network's revival of This Is Your Life. And in August 2006, he reported his option on the contract for the show had lapsed and declined to renew. So Regis hosted the first season of America's Got Talent, a Simon Cowell-produced amateur talent show, which is still running on NBC. And he did that during the summer of 2006. He actually, as I mentioned earlier, he flew between New York City and Los Angeles. Unbelievable. During that time period to participate in both Live with Regis and Kelly and America's Got Talent. So just think about that. Live with Regis and Kelly was a daily show 9 a.m. Eastern in the morning, live, and then he'd fly to LA to do tapings of America's Got Talent. It's unbelievable. Because of his difficulty with commuting over time, cross country, and then, of course, health problems, he was replaced in 2007 on America's Got Talent by talk show host Jerry Springer. Do you remember that? With regard to filling Philbin's spot, Springer noted that no one fills in for Regis. He's the best there ever was at this, so you pay homage to him, which was actually a really nice thing for Jerry to say on Regis's behalf. Regis's affiliation with Fremantle started to develop at the time, and again, he was able to host Millionaire as well as $1 Million Password. He also filled in for Dick Clark's ABC's Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve in 2004, as Clark was recovering from a stroke. Regis, who was a year and a half younger than Dick Clark, lightheartedly claimed to have interrupted his previously planned vacation to do the show. And of course, that's quintessential Regis, just having fun. The following year, Regis hosted a competing special for Fox, replacing Clark's new co-host and eventual successor, Ryan Seacrest. Regis was also the host of The Apprentice 2 finale. Did you remember that? Yes, he was the host of The Apprentice 2 finale in 2004 and the official 30-minute red carpet arrivals host at the 80th Academy Awards ceremony, February 24th, 2008. Regis also hosted the 37th annual Daytime Emmy Awards in 2010. He's made multiple appearances on television on The Late Show with David Letterman. He was often introduced by Letterman as Regis Lee Philbin, a play on his former morning co-host Kathy Lee Gifford. He also appeared on other late-night talk shows such as Jimmy Kimmel Live, Late Night with Conan O'Brien, The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. I'm sure he was probably on The Late Show with Tom Snyder and all of them. Regis Philbin has appeared on sitcoms Spin City, How I Met Your Mother, Mad About You, Hope and Faith, Seinfeld, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, as well as the sketch comedy program, The Dana Carvey Show. He was on Mad TV, The Larry Sanders Show. He appeared in an episode of The Big Valley called The Challenge, which first aired March 18th, 1968. And in 1970, he appeared in an episode of the ABC crime drama, The Silent Force. In 1991, Regis Philbin was a celebrity guest at WrestleMania in Los Angeles, commenting on the main event between Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter. 98, he made an appearance in Disney's Hercules as the voice of the mythical monster Typhon. Kathy Lee Gifford was also present as well in that. In 2000, he appeared as a panelist on the first season's championship game of the ESPN game show 2 Minute Drill. In 2004, Regis Philbin guest starred in Lilo and Stitch, the series episode called Drowsy. Really cool stuff here. 2006, Regis appeared as a special guest alongside Howie Mandel for a 2-hour special episode of Deal or No Deal on NBC. Again, he's a national treasure. Regis Philbin has been a part of our lives he's been doing it he was 88 when he passed, and he was in the business well over 60 years. 60 years of our lives. Regis Philbin has appeared 3 times on Celebrity Jeopardy, the most appearances for any competing celebrity on the game show Jeopardy. In November 2006, he won his competition and earned $50,000 for the Cardinal Hayes High School, his alma mater. That's beautiful. Philbin also appeared as a contestant on Celebrity Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Remember that on Fox? In 2007, he again played for his alma mater, Cardinal Hayes High School in New York. And he dropped out of the game, but he went home with $175,000 for the school. In 2008, Regis guest starred as himself on How I Met Your Mother, where he joined the cast in the search for New York's best hamburger. The show revealed that he worked out at Barney's Gym, and during the Best Burger hunt, his picture hung in the Best Burger restaurant, and every other suspected Best Burger restaurant, such as Corner Bistro and Veggie Heaven. In the show, he hosted a show within a show called $1 Million Heads or Tails, which made reference to both $1 Million Password and Millionaire. Regis attended the Christmas Mass with Father Edward L. Beck and Timothy Dolan, the current Archbishop of New York, at the Sunday Mass, and he gave a special interview during discussing how being a Catholic had influenced his life. In February 2011, Regis made an appearance on Take Two with Phineas and Ferb. On July 3rd, 2011, he was a celebrity guest on The Marriage Ref, along with Tracy Morgan and Susie Essman. It's extraordinary. 2012, Philbin appeared on CNN's Piers Morgan Tonight during the show's guest host week. He filled in. Philbin, the guest, was his longtime friend and fellow television host, David Letterman. You can find that on YouTube as well if you want to see that CNN Piers Morgan Tonight episode where Regis is on with Letterman. It's hilarious. Regis was filling in as host. From September 2012 to October 2017, Regis Philbin was an official recurring monthly co-host on Rachel Ray. And I mentioned that my good friend, Kathleen Walker, who's a faithful viewer of this show and fan of the show, she and I appeared on the Rachel Ray show, which was a blast. In 2013, while Jon Stewart was absent from The Daily Show, Regis Philbin made a guest appearance, kissing guest host John Oliver on the head at the end of the interview. And, you know, I don't doubt it. Regis, very affectionate guy. Fox Sports announced in 2013 that Philbin would be hosting Crowd Goes Wild, a daily sports show featuring a panel of hosts on their all-new national sports network, Fox Sports 1, which launched on August 17, 2013. He once again partnered with his producer from Millionaire, Michael Davies. In 2014, Regis Philbin announced that he was leaving Fox Sports, only returning occasionally to host Crowd Goes Wild, which he did. He also guest hosted 2 episodes of The Late Late Show in 2015. He appeared, of course, on Today with Kathy Lee and Hoda. Matter of fact, he was very helpful to Kathy Lee when Frank Gifford passed away. It was announced, of course, that he was joining the program as an occasional contributor and guest host. Regis eventually appeared on the program roughly once a month and sometimes joined Kathy as guest host on Hoda's days off. And again, we pay homage and we pay farewell and rest in peace to Regis Francis Xavier Philbin, the extraordinary American television presenter, host, personality, actor, singer, who brought us so much joy, so much fun, so much light, levity, and levity for all these years. Tremendous host, and years and years and years, decades of joy and laughs. And if you ever had an opportunity to work with him or know him, then you know what I'm talking about. But I'm sure you do just by watching him, you know, all these years on television, hearing him sing. He had albums out. He used to do a lot of Vegas and Foxwoods Casino and Atlantic City and so much more. So we bid farewell to Regis Philbin on this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. I hope you enjoyed that. Really a very special episode tonight. We had the wonderful Ellis with us. He was fantastic, Ellis Gage. Wonderfully talented performer, and we realized that we had worked together at Carnegie Hall. It was a small world. And thank you very much for all of the comments. We appreciate that, and thanks for the amazing guest tonight. It was wonderful. My pleasure. Mr. Loverty, thanks for having such an awesome guest tonight. My pleasure. Yes, very sad. I know in the beginning, a lot of you commented about your feelings about the passing of Regis Philbin. Something about the passing of people like that, especially now during this time where we're all craving nostalgia and we're craving things that are familiar in our lives, because a lot of what's been going on in the last few months has been unfamiliar. So when you hear names like a Regis Philbin, who always seems like, you know, an 88 is still relatively young, you still think that these folks, because of their big personalities, are always going to be here for us. So what that means is, as I say it all the time, you have to cherish every minute and all the people around that you care about. Your loved ones, your friends, all of us, and even people you may admire, like a Regis Philbin. Maybe you never had a chance to meet him, but you admired him. I admired him for his role as a television host and as an entertainer, being one myself. So I identified from that angle, but I also identified from the humor and coming from New York and his quick wit and his sharp, his ability to ad-lib and grab a line whenever he could. And I thought that was really, really fantastic and sensational. You don't always see that anymore. So that was really, really cool to see that. And also having met him and having known him, he was really a beautiful person inside and out. And he wasn't always as boisterous as he appeared on television. That was part of the act, but he was really a spirited person. Nice tribute. Thank you very much. Yes, Notre Dame. That's right, Allison. That's where he was from. Thank you. Appreciate that very much, Renee. Tribute to Regis. I was going to do a tribute as a separate show, but since he just passed away, I wanted to be relevant. I miss when Larry King used to be on CNN, because whenever major passings of celebrities or people in the news would pass, Larry King would always be on that night, and he'd bring people in who worked with that person that passed away, and they would have, like when Mary Tyler Moore passed away, or when people, Michael Jackson, what have you, they would bring in people who knew them and work with them and tell stories and show pictures. And I miss some of that. You don't really see that. You get quick sound bites, you get short tributes, but I used to love when they would spend more time on people. I'm hoping that they do. Maybe ABC will do a tribute to Regis, because he's been around a long time. This is our tribute, my tribute, and your tribute to him. But I used to love when Larry King had the opportunity to do that on CNN. I would devote the entire hour to the passing of the person. Thank you for the tribute to Regis. My pleasure, Marilyn in Kansas. We appreciate that. Great tribute to Regis. Thank you very much. Yeah, it really, really is. And again, some big people have gone in this year. So you guys, we're going to wrap up. You have a wonderful rest of your evening. One more fantastic Masters Show Jim. I like that. Masters Show Jim. Thanks for tonight. I love when you're with us on the weekends, Carla, from beautiful Brazil. I'm glad you enjoyed the entertainment tonight with my friend Ellis. I'm glad you are enjoying this tribute to another Regis Philbin. And tomorrow night, we are back with somebody extraordinary who is very well known. And I'm so honored to have him on the show. This is really exciting. He is a renowned comedy writer. He writes for the Emmys, a lot of those funny jokes you hear during the Emmys, the Tonys, the Grammys. Also, many years with the Academy Awards, worked with Bette Midler, major stars, major talent, writing all the comedy, as well as a lot of the jokes on Hollywood Squares and so much more. The one and only Bruce. It looks like I'm becoming Bruce, right? The one and only Bruce Valanche is here tomorrow night. This is extraordinary. He's very excited. He's a riot. It's going to be a very funny evening. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Monday, another talented performer, Billy Reese, is going to be with us here on the show. Very excited about that. And we have John Buccino. He's going to be here. He's a brilliant performer as well next week. Next week, we have Ann Kittredge. She is phenomenal. Thursday, Damian McGinty from Celtic Thunder and from Glee on Fox and a wonderful solo career. He's going to be here. He's all excited. He's going to perform. He asked me today when we were chatting, he said, "Hey, Jim, you want me to perform live?" He's going to perform live. He's got a new album out too. Again, he's from Celtic Thunder. I've interviewed him multiple times on public television. He's a great guy. We've stayed in touch all these years. And you may remember him on Glee on Fox. And on Friday, Rita Cosby, veteran television news anchor and reporter, radio host, and best-selling author. She's going to be here Friday night. Now, if you're watching this episode in the archives next year, these will have already happened. But if you're watching live now, as you are, there's a little preview of some of the amazing guests coming up. Again, Bruce Valanche tomorrow night. That's going to be hilarious. So thank you very much. Thank you. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. My pleasure. My pleasure. Good night to all of you as well. Thank you for all the great comments. Again, if you want to see any of the past episodes, if you missed an episode, want to see this one again or anything else, just go to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe. We'd love if you did that. Jim Masters TV. All the episodes are there. We're here nightly, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live worldwide. And we thank you very much. One more quick thank you to my very special guest, ELLIS GAGE. Great to have him here on the show. He performed for us. We had a great conversation, and we realized that we both knew each other from Carnegie Hall. And one final farewell to the one and only Regis Philbin. For all of us here, good night. Thank you for joining us this time. Till next time, good night all. Yes, Damon Damien is going to be here on Thursday. Was it Jimmy Durante used to say, good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. I love all that old school stuff. You have a great night as well. Glad you got home safe from your vacation, and you were with us in the pop-up morning edition of the Jim Master Show Live, and now here in the evening edition. All right. That's about it. I think I have actually run out of words, as rare as that is. And it was a real delight tonight. So take care, everybody. Have a good night. We'll be here tomorrow live. And be good to one another. Life is short. And relax. Yes. And you guys are all the stars. I think I'll combine the two. Relax. You're all the stars. You. I may be the host and the star of the show, but you are the stars as well on the Jim Master Show Live. Relax, breathe, love one another, care for one another. And now the official good night. Take care. Love you all. Spread the word about our show. Really not much like it on the internet or anywhere else. And we're happy to present it to you nightly. Good night, everybody. Love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Bruce Valanche will be here. It's going to be a lot of fun. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Bye-bye.